One Tank Trip, presented by Childers, Air, Plumbing, Electric.
Mercer Street Grassroots District is the heart of downtown Princeton. Today, we're taking a trip through the artistic haven where craft, culture, and commerce collide.
I remember coming back home and just over the course of time, it just sort of dawning on me that that type of activity can happen anywhere you are. It's just a matter of people.
The transformation of this historic district into a hub of creativity and culture began in 2006 with a group of like-minded individuals seeking to support local businesses while establishing a place for artists of all mediums to express themselves. A key figure in the neighborhood's revamp is Princeton native Lori McKinney. McKinney is the co-founder and executive director of the Riff Raff Arts Collective, a dynamic arts complex made up of community members focused on event production, media creation, neighborhood building, and so much more.
I realized watching a lot of arts organizations, community arts organizations, right there kind of where I was staying, and it was in central London, and all of these kind of rotating cast of characters constantly going into these community arts centers, and I just remember being really struck by that.
We kicked off our visit at Riff Raff's Art Boutique, which features paintings, jewelry, pottery, and other works from over 40 Appalachian artisans.
We sell pottery and fine art and jewelry and all kinds of wonderful things that a lot of dynamic, talented, creative people have made and are showcased, and some of them is a big part of their livelihood at the different galleries they share in, so we're happy to be a part of that for them.
Next up on our tour is the Wild Roots Coffee House. The intimate and cozy space filled with greenery and local art creates a sanctuary perfect for recharging your internal battery. There is something new brewing in the space, as the Wild Roots Coffee House will now be known as the Dream Bean. Community Coffee House will remain a gathering place, providing local art and live music while also serving delicious food and drinks. I decided to try Wild Roots Wild Berry Fresh Fruit Smoothie for my first visit. If you're wondering if I enjoyed it, you may notice the cup is still in my hand throughout this segment because it was way too good to put down. So we're here at the Blue Ridge Bee Company.
Yeah.
So what is this all?
Yeah, so this would definitely be one of my next stops on like the must-do on your one-tank trip. But the Blue Ridge Bee Company, they sell beekeeping equipment and all kinds of farm fresh products and delicious foods. And the owners have been very intent on helping save the honeybee population. So they empower people with their bee boxes and all of the equipment that they might need to start their own beehive. So it's pretty awesome. And they're getting ready for a moonshine still class, and so the owner's over there talking to the moonshine guy because they're going to be having a still building class. So that's a pretty cool. They're always doing like new things, and their audience is really in tune with them.
Our adventure continues, and feel free to take a quick trip to witness the wonder for yourself because it only takes one tank of gas to get here. In Princeton with photojournalist Michael Leith, I'm Brandy Lawrence for Newswatch. Trip continues in Princeton as we further explore the Mercer Street Grassroots District. Our next stop landed us at the Holler Contemporary Appalachian Art Gallery.
So there's a really awesome scene of really gifted artists, and this gallery it was owned by Rita Montrose, and she was a teacher. A lot of the professional artists in our community these days learn from Rita, and the director of the gallery, Richard Shrewsbury, is a wonderful painter. That's one of his paintings there, and a beautiful sculptor. And they have all kinds of different artists represented in here, and it's more of a show space, so it's like the full-on wall shows, but they also have a gift gallery. They're only up on the weekends right now.
Next, we flew on down to the Emporium, a shop that is a slice of heaven for hobbyists and adventurers alike. Even if you're not a fan of model sets and racing, the Emporium is sure to leave you in awe with its impressive inventory and innovative interior design that gives the space a big city vibe while maintaining an intimate small town appeal.
This is an amazing hobby shop, and it's like over the top hobby shop. The guy that created this he's a big kid at heart, and he just has a really big imagination and ability to execute on his visions. So he has created a retail store where you can get all kinds of remote control cars and planes and helicopters and Lionel trains and e-bikes and all of these things. But then he has basic playgrounds and racetracks. Like this one here is where the climb cars, it's almost like an obstacle course. It is an obstacle course. And then there's all the different cars, and it's like a whole world. I'm just learning a little bit about it, but there's all these different types of cars. There's a drift car track, and it has that in the basement. And then the really fast cars race upstairs, and it's a pretty incredible hobby that people get into in like a whole world. And they have race nights and all these different really exciting events. And it's just kind of crazy that this is here in our downtown. This building was totally dilapidated. To see it go from that to this sort of like wonderland. Sometimes I feel like I'm standing in like FAO Schwartz in New York City or something, just looking around in awe and wonder, and pretty amazed that this is right here in downtown Princeton.
Our quest then transported us over to Daydream Games, the district's one-stop shop for trading card games, board games, comics, and everything in between.
Daydream Games actually started in 2007 as a publishing company, and we published a couple of products. I had a business partner then, and that ended up changing to just being a sole proprietor. And so one of my goals was, as a game designer, to increase my influence in the industry, to just open up a game store, and that way I could reach out to distributors in a different way, as purchasing their product, selling it locally in a brick and mortar store, and also continue to design games.
Even though Crutchfield is well versed in the gaming world, he prides his shop on being a friendly place for players to connect and get their game on.
Last night was our Magic the Gathering Commander night. Tonight will be role-playing games, and we do something every night of the week, except for Sunday. We're closed on Sundays.
Form the space, and this was a pretty kind of dark and sketchy space back here, and it was just a really kind of unsavory tagging that had happened on the walls and some anatomy graffiti, if you will. And so we decided that we wanted to beautify the space, and so we marked this off in 22 different 4x6 panels, and we put the call out to artists that they could submit a sketch for anything that they wanted to paint. It could be their own creative design, and it just so happened that we had 22 sketches, one for each panel. It just worked out perfectly, and Rita Montrose, the owner of Holler Gallery, arranged them and by color and design, and we had this wonderful creative experience. So it was as much about the fellowship and the experience of creating it as it was about the finished product. So all the artists that painted Artist Alley together, I think, probably have really fond memories of making their mark on the sort of Renaissance of Princeton. This is a portrait of Nat Reese, who's just a local blues legend. He grew up in the coal camps in McDowell County, but he remembered working in all the different buildings here on Mercer Street and shared stories all the time. He also shared his skill and his talent with a lot of artists and musicians in the area.
Where are we now?
This is Stages Music School, and so it's been around since 2008. It was actually in the building that is now the coffee house, and there are about 200 students that were coming here regularly for a really long time. Since COVID, it hasn't been quite as active as it was before. They used to perform all over the place and do tours. The One Voice Project, a lot of the artists who would come to talk to you on Community Forum grew up in this school. But there's still really great teachers here and lessons that happen every day. And a lot of the young artists that sort of grow up in this program become the professional artists that play our shows and record in the studio and create music videos with. So it's just a really nice creative scene.
We are at the room upstairs, and it is definitely upstairs. So that was quite a journey, but it was definitely worth it. So what do you all use this for?
So this is a music venue. We do open mics every Monday, and a lot of different community events have happened up here. We've done dance concerts and plays and meetings, and it's a really functional space. We do a lot of the sort of media work up here. So the production, magic, a lot of times it's happening in Robert's studio in the back, and it's been sort of a seed from the very beginning, all the way back in 2006 when we first moved into this building. A lot of creative energy was focused in this space. So a lot of really good times and creative experiences happened in this room. This whole building was dilapidated, and it was the transformation has been a big labor of love.
While this wraps up our one-tank trip in Princeton, there's still plenty more to explore in the Mercer Street Grassroots District that you have to experience for yourself. So come on, it only takes one tank of gas to immerse yourself in this colorful, creative, culturally enriched community. In Princeton with photojournalist Michael Leith, I'm Brandy Lawrence for Newswatch.
One Tank Trip, presented by Childers, Air, Plumbing, Electric.